NerdandSon.
Welcome to the Nerd and Son podcast. I am Ralph. I am Nerd.
And I am Connor. I'm Son. Although, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But speaking of trees, we have a link tree. Then you can email us on, get in touch with us, all that good stuff. Was that forced enough?
That was good. Actually, I like it. Makes it a little bit easier to get a hold of us. Any questions, anything like that, too, because we would love to hear your comments on that. So awesome. And that would definitely be down in the description. So cool. I guess today we decided, off of our last session, we kind of cut it short because we're about ready to go into a whole new section, which had taken forever, and we decided to make that into a separate podcast. And today we're going to talk about session prep, how to make session prep, and going from there. So this would be interesting because we've kind of generally talked about how I do it and how you do it, and now I guess we're going to go ahead and be making examples.
Yeah.
Okay. So
absolutely.
Not a problem at all. The other thing that we are doing in the podcast is we were talking and we decided to add something called basically like an encounter corner. And this is kind of something I like because I listen to a ton of different podcasts for different examples, ideas, thoughts, and things that they're doing. And besides just talking about our experiences and how we look about running things and doing things, about each podcast going forward, having a specific encounter, a creature encounter, a different campaign location, something that you can take the ideas from and use that in your own campaign. So that way we can give back and give ideas, because I love getting ideas from everybody else, and I think that would be a great thing. So yeah, wait till later. That will be coming up later in the podcast. So
whoa.
Woohoo! And I don't think you've read it yet because I got the notes on there, and this would be interesting to you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Don't read it early.
Well, it's not on here, so
it's a separate file in our notes
Oh,
log.
did I? Oh, okay.
All right. You don't even have the notes. Look at that.
Wait. Oh no! I was going off the old one. Oh no!
Oh yeah, no.
All right, I will not open it so that I don't read ahead.
You can open the notes, but the PDF is the separate thing. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
Okay. So
I don't know why it's not showing. The Google Docs is looking weird. Okay.
Look at that. We are professionals. This is awesome.
Professionals.
Yes. So, all right. So, session prep. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Well, you have the more organized way of session prep, so please, you begin.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do that. So, as session prep, and there's a couple of different ways of actually doing it. To me, it's not difficult because I take what my players are doing, the direction they're heading, and then I just kind of weave a story around that. But not everybody looks at everything the exact same way. And some of the things you could do for session prep is make quick notes of what actually happens in your previous game. That's really kind of the best way of doing that. The other thing that I do is kind of make a loose outline of the overall campaign, and I have that with my session notes. And what I do is when I do the prep for the next game, I take the notes from that session, see how they're doing it, see how I can put in my next session and campaign and build stuff around that to get them to the direction I want to head in my overall outline of the campaign. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I kind of do besides that kind of that outline and ideas is I always have pre-generated things at the ready. So if I want like a specific encounter, I pre-generate characters, NPCs, creatures, modify anything that I want. Okay. And that's really kind of the things that I actually do. And something I want to do after you talk about what you kind of do is I want to do an example. And I know I didn't discuss this with you, but I want to kind of get an idea, an example from you. And I'll go over that in detail. And then I'll just do a complete session prep. And I'll show you exactly what I use from there. And we'll do it real quick. And I think that would be nice. Instead of just talking about it, let me show you it. So this would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. I think it would be fun. So, not only will the audience be surprised, but I will be surprised as well. So I have almost the opposite. I am really off the cuff and loose about it all. When I like playing RPGs and stuff, I like doing it just loose and just having a good time. And I'll have general ideas and some notes, but it's never anything crazy. And a lot of it is just loose ideas that I have, and then just kind of like pull from those mid-session and just kind of just everything's kind of in my head. Not saying that is the best way to do it, and definitely it gets to some points where like I don't know what's going on, but and that's one of the pitfalls of that way of doing things. But I generally like to play fast and loose with everything, and allow the players to have the freedom, and then always backfill quickly what all that needs to be done just in my head real quick with what the players are doing currently. Like if the players want to go let's say what's it good? I remember I was playing this dwarven flying fortress, right? And I knew in my head that they were here at some kind of festival thing that was going on, and I was allowing them, and they were confined to this area, and there were guards posted up to keep them in that area. Of course, that means that at least one player is going to try to get past the guards, and just immediately they're going to walk up to the guard and try to get past them, which means that I have to figure out what that guard is doing, and if they get past them, what that kind of looks like, whether or not there's extra security, whether or not there's, and describe kind of the setting of that based off of how I have that in my head, but that's not fleshed out until that's just a nebulous concept in my head until the player goes, I'm going to go up to the guard and I'm going to get past him, and then I got to go, oh, well, we got to figure out what that looks like, sometimes, I took this when I was running, especially this thing, which is whenever a scene was set, I would have the players each give me a detail of that scene when they walked in, right? So, he gets past, and I kind of set up how it is, and then I go, what else do you notice? Like, just so that the players can help add to the scene, and, like, let's say they come in to a battle scene or something like that where they know there's going to be something, and one of them goes, well, there's a chandelier on the ceiling, and then so that they can set that up, something like that up, so that when they're in the battle, they can go, I'm going to shoot that chandelier down. Something like that. Where they
so you let them set up to be the environment and everything, Absolutely. And you kind of build off exactly what you think they're seeing in their head, and play off their head canon. Okay.
Because I am one person, and I am one person with one vision of what is going on, and I as the DM, am explaining that and conveying that to my players, but they're seeing something different, you know? And so why not all collaboratively come up together with this, you know?
Okay.
And make it instead of make it my setting that they are playing in, you know, my playground, my sandbox. It's ours, you know. Just
Okay.
little things.
That's an interesting way of doing it. I've actually never been in a campaign where I was given options like that, or in a game or anything else like that. I've always had everything kind of described to me the few times that I actually played, and that was kind of my whole setup where I'm going ahead, I'm describing the whole scene, the layup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that I would add in if I didn't describe a full scene is all the players they can ask, oh, is there anything on the ceiling? Is there something over here? How many doors are set up? They can ask different things like that to help flesh it out at that particular point, but I don't let them like control the scene. So it sounds like you let them more control the scene than what I do, but I help flesh it out, and then if they want more detail, then we can actually flesh out more detail at that particular time. So, okay,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and it does, you know, there's a discussion that I have with all my players before we start, and like I want the understanding. Like I kind of touched on in the last episode where we were discussing, like, I need the buy-in that everyone's going to be more serious, you know?
right.
And that, you know, they're going to take this realistically, and, you know, they're not going to just be ridiculous about it, you know? And ridiculous looks different for any game, you know, and whatever the setting is allowing for in that moment, you know.
No,
So there's
good.
you know there's a lot of leeway in that, and it's pretty, like, it's a pretty loose term of what ridiculous can mean, but you know, in, like I explained before, where like my philosophy on it is that we can have fun above the table, and we can sit here and, you know, make dick jokes and like have a good time amongst ourselves. You know, these characters and this setting is serious to these characters. You know,
Right.
where we as players can find things funny, the characters is.
Well, I mean, that all
know.
depends on your players, your setup, and how you actually want to start and run the game and stuff like that. But I do have a kind of a question for you, and I don't know how much you can actually say because I don't know who's listening to the podcast as to this point. Can you actually talk about your game that you are setting up, that you talked about, how you're prepping for that? Or is that something that might be
absolutely. Actually, I did want to touch on that, because that is all, like, how I just described everything was all my homebrew stuff, right? But because of, you know, everything that's going on in life, like, I don't have a lot of time to be prepping, which mean that do all the work that goes into a homebrew setting and like coming up with all this stuff. I am going through and I am playing a adventure module. Right, I'm playing I'm setting up to play a Starfinder campaign. Just at least a little one shot, little thing,
right.
or a couple sessions, but and it is the what's it called? It's the Attack of the Swarm adventure module from Starfinder, and it's because one of my good friends is a big fan of Starship Troopers and Tyranids, you know, and it's gonna be a good time, you know. It's gonna be a fun, but it basically just sets up, and it only requires of me that I know what the I just do a quick read through, which I have done, and then I make sure that I have, you know, I have a Tyranid army, and I have the one-page rules, like on this shelf behind me. I have the one-page rules, alien hives printed, and I'm gonna use those as the minis for that. So I have the minis for it. All I need to know is, you know, what's in this encounter, and the characters involved, and it's not too much, and I can sit there, do a quick read through, and then maybe the day before do another read through, and I know what's going to go on. I don't know how much we're going to get to in that situation, but it is not time consuming at all, and I really like that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I didn't know.
It's pretty quick and easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you already have your stats and you have everything else like that too.
Yep, because it's just given. So.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of what my question was, because I didn't know how you do that. Because here's the thing: I have not played 5th edition, and a lot of different changes, a lot of things I'm learning, because I kind of stepped away from it and in 2012, and now just getting back into it 10 years later. So I kind of had that gap. But when I was doing all my game and my sessions, it was very crunchy, because when I look back at it now for 4th edition, which what we was playing last, that is amazingly crunchy. And since I haven't played a 5th edition campaign, even though I've been listening to a bunch of ones lately over the last couple months, getting back into it, it just seems a lot looser than what it was when I was running it. So I still have that kind of a difference.
Well, I think the intention of, if I'm remembering correctly, the intention of 4th edition was to go with a VTT that was supposed to come out with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the mechanics and stuff are specifically designed in conjunction with the computer is doing a lot of the math there. So when you take that computer away from it, it becomes because a computer is meant to be doing this math that is involved here, the VTT never came out. And so you are left with a bunch of math. The book and stuff was going, hey, this is what this does, and this is what this does, and this is what this does. And you have a bunch of stacking buffs and debuffs, and like everybody has a lot of stuff going on that the computer was supposed to take care of.
Okay.
But then now you, the players, and the DM and everybody on that table has to take care of the math that was meant for the computer.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding of it, and that's my understanding of why that's so crunchy.
I don't know, but with the new D&D is supposed to be out this year, that just got moved back.
That's great content for us.
Well, that kind of
it's handed to us on a silver platter, and whatever drama comes from the that stuff, because there's going to be some.
There's always drama. There's a lot more drama than really needs to be on there. But with that, what you're talking about, your VTT, that's tying in with the brand new edition that's supposed to be coming out. Even though they put that back, the people that I've watched that been able to play it and deal with it like it a lot. Plus, they've actually are going to be releasing that information for Roll20, for Foundry, and I think a couple other ones too. So it's going to be really nice, and that's another aspect of this to learn, especially when we start our campaign and learning that kind of stuff. Because I'm really going to jump into it when they have the new edition, the new books, and everything like that. Because I don't think at that particular point, with all my knowledge, me learning 5th edition now, and especially if we're going to be transitioning, because I don't know yet.
To be fair, it's not necessarily a new edition, right? They're just building off of 5th edition, so it's more going to be a 5.5 pretty much, and that's what I know a lot of people in the community are calling it, is 5.5.
Yeah, which that would actually be cool, because I mean, when we went from 3 to 3.5, I really didn't have any problem or anything there. When they went from 3.5 to 4, there was a lot of similar things, but there was also a lot of differences, but those weren't as extreme as 4th edition, when I'm used to running, and 5th edition is out right now. So there's a lot more prep, but that's kind of a side thing. Yeah,
this is going to be a big year. I think we have a lot of good stuff coming this year. I'm not 100% on the train. I'm not 100% on the knowledge of what's coming out, but what I do know, the two big things that I know are coming out this year are going to be that new D&D edition, which is very exciting. But also a big thing for me is Starfinder 2 is coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited for that. Because I remember when the Pathfinder playtest for second edition was coming out, and then second edition came out. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and I'm very excited.
Which I'm interested in thing, because I actually went out to a group meeting where it was actually put on by a local role-playing community here in Cincinnati, and I actually went out and I met quite a few different people. Yourself. That's okay. I'm in Cincinnati. I have another business that says where I'm at, so it's not a problem. But doing on that, and I was actually find out that they actually have a actual Pathfinder group here that's not just playing the game, but is actually with the company, and that is officially ran here in Cincinnati. So kind of interested in seeing that, trying to see what direction we want to do, because as of campaign and campaign prep, one of the things I've been doing in the background, because I'll go ahead and talk about this. Before we launched our first session that we posted, we did 6 test runs basically of podcast, trying to figure out how we're going to talk, how we're going to say things. A lot of learning going into that. But one of the ideas we came up with is having our own campaign world that we can launch, grow, and homebrew everything. And I still like that idea. We got all the notes and stuff like that. I started drawing rough outlines, maps, and everything like that. But since we did that, starting the podcast, I have been doing a lot of learning on campaign choreography, the program, and doing drawings, and I am growing a nice island, and probably about a 400 or 500 mile square island. Been drawing out, been setting up towns, villages, hierarchy, creatures, biomes, and getting things set up so we can go ahead and kind of expand out from there as large as a campaign. The other thing that I am doing, and this is a future thing for this channel, and I'll go ahead and talk about it now. One of the things, or actually, let me explain, one of the podcasts that I love, okay, that I listen to regularly is from Sly Flourish. And he is running a campaign right now that deals with the gloaming, okay? And I've never heard the actual gameplay, but every week he does a podcast where he's doing his session prep. That's the entire podcast. And I love that. That is awesome. So I'm hoping to go ahead and when I'm doing the campaign prep ideas and stuff like that, go and doing something similar to that going forward. So, but that's still a ways down the road. And that way you can get into my head, my thoughts, how I look at different things. And that's kind of the example I want to do here in just a little bit. So,
subscribe to the non-existent Patreon to see more updates on that.
Yes, our non-existent Patreon.
Yeah, I think I just had an idea. Maybe this would be, you know what? You get to see how the sausage is made, but I just had an idea for this the campaign world and stuff. Mm-hmm. Where instead of, because I know you've discussed having a book and everything, but what if, to keep up, because this is a digital medium, we have a podcast, mm-hmm. We're doing all this stuff, what if it is a digital only release so that we can have that more of a free living
I think eventually what the goal is to have a living book, living campaign, and for our people group and stuff like that is theirs that they can do. I don't know what the future's going to hold. This was just kind of like pie in the sky ideas and aspirations, since mm-hmm. I know when we can listen back in on this a couple years down the road and be like, oh, look at us, we're so cute. Well, we mentioned it on a previous podcast or one of the test ones. I don't remember where we mentioned it, but I remember us talking about it, is when Wizards actually were looking for a new campaign. Mm-hmm. idea for a new environment and everything like that. It's how they got Eberron. I was we were playing at that particular time, and I was actually writing a new campaign, trying to get ideas and everything like that. And our first submission was just basically an idea as a one-page submission. We put that in there. We actually got through. We got to the second round, which we actually did more of a highlight. I didn't get past that round. They didn't care for the ideas, but
Nope. You gotta play it up. You were like, I was like second in line to get you got to play it up. You got to be like, yeah, I was almost the one. I could have been Keith Baker.
Yeah, I was second from the first round of people let go. How do you do that? But no, but that whole thing excited me, inspired me, and I liked it. And I have the like I said, the pie in the sky idea to do something in the future, but we will see. Mm-hmm. So just great. I think that so, but that's years down the road for everything to come to fruition. But as we're talking about,
we've turned our session prep episode into a podcast prep episode.
But let's get back to session prep and everything like that. Okay, let me.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Okay, I'm gonna get my pad and paper because I gotta do notes. I gotta do a bunch of different things as I'm typing. Now I'm gonna set this up here.
All right.
Okay, so here we're gonna do. Let's say I'm the DM, and let's go ahead. And normally, how I would do it, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna use you, and you're gonna play the 4-member party or whatever. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Now,
there are 4 of me now.
there are 4 of you. World be wary. Sorry, that's not a good thing. Tell me, just give me rough ideas. Should be general, random, whatever. What your characters are, okay, and what you are, where you would like to start.
Okay.
Let's say this is a brand new game. It could just be all random.
Brand new game.
You can just spout out crap. I'll just tell you how I do.
All right. 4 players. You've got the wizard, right? You've got we'll have the fighter. We'll do rogue and who cares about the third one? Let's do a cleric. Because everybody doesn't think about the cleric, but the cleric is the best class in the game. Okay? All right. If you're not playing a cleric, you're wrong. If you don't have one cleric, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's not playing a cleric, you're wrong.
Okay. So where have all these 4 characters decided to meet?
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to start. You said this is a new game. We're going to start in a tavern, right?
Okay, that works.
We're going to meet.
Okay, so here we're going to do. Let's generate what we're going to do. Okay.
Right.
Okay, let me get through here. Way I'm doing everything here. So.
All right, what are you doing?
I'm actually going through.
Can you share your screen?
I am not, because I don't have everything where I want to share all that as of right now. But I will tell you what I am doing in the way I actually run through things. So, yeah. Eventually I'll have a different screen, which we talked earlier, which I can start sharing, but I got too much other stuff all over the place for my other businesses and everything, so.
You know you can just share your window, right?
Yeah, but then we'll figure that out later. Remember, I'm old, technology hard.
You're better at technology than I am. And I'm not bad at technology.
We are all good. Great. Now, the one thing that I want to...
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start out with the tavern. Okay. Let's meet in a middle-of-the-run tavern. We're going to have a owner, a tavern, and basically what I'm going to do right now is for this game session, I'm just going to generate a generic tavern. Now, this is from the coppersanctum.github.io. Okay. We're going to have a common bartender race. We're going to have a just an average atmosphere.
What'd you say? Copper Sanctum?
The Copper Sanctum.github.io.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Okay, and then I'm going to do.
This is very like 2010 internet. This is
It don't matter. It works. Okay, so basically, I'm going to pick tavern here. Okay, so we're going to start meeting at a tavern. It gives me a tavern idea. So I have the Stumbling Drunken Forest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives me there. I have just basic bartender, enable clientele. So at this particular point, what I would do and what I did in the past is I would take something like this, I copy it, I paste it to a document. Okay, but
Okay.
this is how I'm going to do here. Okay.
You're old. You write on you write things out on paper.
Yep.
I don't even know how to write.
I know. Okay, so that's going to be there. So basically off the tavern there. Now, what do I want to do while we're in the tavern? I am going to go to a plot hook generator, and I'm going to leave all these links inside here. And now this one is called herebetaverns.com, and there is what they call a plot hook generator.
Right.
And I'm just.
Is this what you were talking about last?
I have a bunch of different things, so I'm going to name all of them as I go here. Okay.
Wait,
so,
here be what? Here be what?
Herebetaverns.com.
Taverns.
Okay.
All right.
And now what I'm doing is going to do a generator. I'm going to go to plot hooks. Okay. Let's look who here. We got Orc Leader. Zerk the Half Orc wants to be done. New God. Ghost Tower. You know what?
Oh.
I like the Ghost Tower idea. Cool. Okay, so let's go.
I just pulled this up. It said tax time. A caravan of tax collectors from the nearby city was attacked and robbed on its way to town. Honestly, based.
Yeah, this is so much here. So I'm going to pull this one from a Ghost Tower. Okay, so I kind of have what I want to do there. Now, actually, and what I'm going to do, because I'm thinking ahead, I'm going to change from Ghost Tower to Ghost Grotto.
Okay.
Okay. With a cave. Aha! Let's do that.
Cave.
Yes, I kind of like that.
What is a grotto? What is the... Hold up.
Okay,
Hold up.
you can look up grotto.
Grotto.
Okay. Now, let's see here.
A grotto is a small picturesque cave, especially an artificial one in a park or a garden.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't know what the definition of a grotto was. And then like its picture, the picture that is the Microsoft like screen saver thing that pops up like when you first that is a grotto. When you think of a grotto, think of the Microsoft like Windows cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all good. So it's generative. So that gives me an idea. So we have location that we're meeting. I have a random idea for an adventure. What's going on? Okay. Now let's generate some interesting people, and I'm gonna go to another.
Before you do that, I just thought that grotto sounds like a Star Wars name.
It might be.
It might be.
It probably is. Or something really close to it.
Have you ever heard of the joke of Glupshido?
Glupshido? No, I have not.
Glupshido. Okay, so it's a joke about the Star Wars community, right? And it's from this like post, and it's like it's this post about like, oh yeah, Star Wars fans will be like, oh, that background character, that's Glupshido, and he's like he has such a crazy lore in the backstories, and so like the community took that, and now the joke is like, oh shit, that's Glupshido, like like every time they announce a new project, it's like, oh, I hope Glupshido's gonna show up.
It might. No. Okay, so next section what I'm going to do is I want a couple interesting characters. So the next generator I'm going to pull right now is called npcgenerator.com. Very simple, okay? Let's say pick a race. Let's say I want a couple, you know what? I don't know what our races are. Let's just be human. Let's just make them all human. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Basic
random sex, alignment. Let's just make them mostly good alignment.
Fantasy racist here.
I really don't have any plot hooks, but sometimes you can do that. In occupation, I'm just going to leave that random. Now I'm going to generate. Okay. Okay, Leo Flick Cleaves is an 80-year-old male human prostitute. I don't think I'm gonna use that
Oh
one.
yeah. I don't know. hey, don't yuck somebody's yum.
See, this is the
listen,
only thing about the generator sometimes that come on.
What's his name? What's the actor's name? What's the actor's name?
There's lots of actors, lots of names.
There's a really old one that just had a kid.
I don't know. What do you consider old? I'm 50.
Like
old people are not as old anymore.
I'm talking old. I'm talking old.
Okay.
This is the riveting stuff that you get. Al Pacino, that was the one.
Oh, okay.
Al Pacino had a kid recently. How old is he? Yeah, he's 83, and he had a child.
Really?
At 83. Is 83 old enough for you? Can that be considered old?
It's getting there.
Considering that the average male life expectancy is 76.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did an NPC generator, and as I'm trying to build this campaign right here off of that one, and right now we have a lady amenity Hillis.
A lady manatee?
No. Amity. Amity. That's her first name. Okay.
Amity?
She's 32, human, female. Quietly worships, because it tells you right here, she quietly worships a goddess. Okay. Worships an evil goddess. Okay, so now I have a NPC that I can use for the main thing. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to now go to another random encounter generator. Okay, I have a bunch of different things because they kind of all do something different for me. Now, this one is called Random Encounter. randomencountersai.com. Okay. And this has a
AI.
Yes.
What a hot button issue. We're really on the cusp of this.
So in this particular generator, I like this because you can actually pick a whole bunch of things, and there you can do different biomes, encounters, everything else like that. I'm going to do a tavern encounter. I'm going to do that with the D10. And I'd probably copy and paste this, but what we have here is a group of taverns guests are gathered in a corner, laughing at a halfling bard named Tipsy, who is living up to his name and drunk and singing in a barley tune. There's a traveling circus that's popped up outside. An old treasure hunter offers the players a map. A group of men are arguing whether or not dragons exist. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to give me a list of patrons inside the tavern that we're going to be all meeting at.
How can you be in? I love this. I love this. Just like I love the idea of these fantasy guys just all arguing whether or not dragons exist. It's got the same energy of like the birds being government drones.
They're
just
not?
like, I know, goddamn, I'm telling you, it's the king. It's the king there. You know, it's the dragons are just they're conjurations of the wizards. It's all the wizards. The wizards are all they're making these. They're all illusions. They're all illusions, and they're just taking your gold. And it's the wizard packs, and they're taking the gold away, and they're all in Hollywood. They've taken over the government.
Yeah, that's about true.
Using the British
Here's
dragon.
the thing: is when you're making this stuff up, use real life influences. So this is all good. See, when I describe that to you now. This is the good thing about describing and having this information, because when I actually describe this and when you guys are walking into the counter or sitting down, having a bar, meeting the barmaid, drinking, you see this off to the corner, you now have in your mind what is kind of going on. So you're kind of helping build the whole thought encounter that's in your head too.
See,
so
now I'm the bad player who is just you have this whole thing and I've only just like this small tiny like set dressing thing that you added. Like I'm so just pinpoint just focused on that.
Oh no,
on
just wait.
Conspiracy, the conspiracy that dragons don't exist, and I love that. That could be a whole campaign.
Yes, it can. That's what's nice about all these ideas.
I'm writing this down. I fucking love that. I love how I leaned into my microphone that I don't use anymore.
It's just habit. Just habit. Okay. So.
All right, hold up. All right.
Okay, so we're doing that. Yeah, I'm just doing that. Okay, the other kind of ideas that in here is a group of halflings are having a drinking contest with a group of dwarves, and the halflings for some reason seem to be winning to the dwarves' annoyance. Interesting. Another one. A man is sitting at a table drinking wine and mumbling to himself. He will talk to anyone who sits down at his table. The players have not already figured it out. He is actually a mad wizard who can cast an illusion spell on his health. He is trying to convince players that he is a powerful wizard and they should listen to him.
That's what all the wizards are doing.
Yeah.
They're putting chemicals in the ale that are turning the freaking frogs gay.
See, they're not. See, this is the stuff thing. This is the
devil.
This is the big thing that you can have when you're actually playing with generators and liking generation and stuff like that too. So,
I am.
And also, as a side note, as your movement, you got your camera out of focus.
Yeah, well, I can't help that.
I
can't help it.
Okay, so we got that and everything else on there too. Now that kind of gives us kind of random ideas. Now, what do I want to do? Now I'm going to go to a stat block generator, okay? And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want to build a stat block for amenity illness, okay? This is how I do it because I do my stat blocks this way. Is I'm going to go to tetra-cube.com.
Tetracube?
Tetra-cube.com.
Tetra-cube.
Okay, and then I am looking up the D&D 5th edition stat block, okay? So, and when I bring that up, I have a bunch of monster presets. Let's go ahead. I've decided to make Minty a cleric. How about a cultist instead? Ooh, you know what? We're going to make her a cultist. I'm going to use preset. And this is going to give me a stat block. So what I would do with this particular punt for her is I would print out the stat block. The nice thing with the stat block, because I've used this many times before, especially on their thing I'm going to talk about later, is you can add different abilities, actions, different things like that too. But this gives me a stat block. So I kind of like that. So we're good. Now, cool. Ooh. So, based all that, okay? Night, wake up with issues. Okay. Are you done? I have our whole campaign, idea, evening, everything planned out. See, overall, that didn't really take that much time. Okay?
You're right.
And this is just the way I personally do it based off everything I got here. And then I'll go ahead, I'll describe the situation, what's going on, everything happening from there with the different stat blocks. And you can kind of add on to this. And the one other thing is, too, is to me, because the way my mind works, this is, and also, too, I have been doing this for years, so it comes kind of a little bit naturally to me. If this is the first time doing it, it might take you a little bit longer to pull everything together like I just did. But here we go.
Hi guys, if you want to take a break from role playing and watch someone burn their face off while eating hot peppers, head on over to YouTube at 13 Peppers and like and subscribe. And if you want to grow these peppers yourself, you can actually purchase these seeds at 13peppersbyralph.com. With that, have a good day.
Now we're going to start with our 4 players, okay? And they're all traveling. They could be together or separate, doesn't matter. But in the evening, they all find themselves in front of a tavern in a small village, okay? They're going to go into the evenings from their long travels, horseback, however they're doing, hiking, and they're going into the tavern, okay? It's a pretty standard tavern. On the side, it is called the Stubborn Drunken Forest. That's the name of the tavern.
Okay.
The sign and everything is kind of rickety and everything on the tavern, but it seems like it's well maintained, a little bit older, but still well maintained. So no problem in there. You're walking through the main doors. You have roughly about 16 different tables. And you notice from the outside, this is kind of a two-story. So when you walk in, there's a long fire pit in the middle of the floor that is actually warming up the whole area. Tables seem to be surrounding the whole thing.
Sounds like Skyrim.
That's a very good idea. At the far end is the bar section where you have a male bartender over there. All humanoids inside the bar. There's no other additional races or anything like that. Okay? Now, if I knew that one of the players was kind of a different race, I might have actually had part of the tables kind of get quiet when you walk in. And then after a few moments, they go back to their normal conversation. Okay.
Like in Star Wars when we don't serve your kind here.
Yes. So you do that. And then when you look up, you actually notice that there is a second floor. On the second floor, there's just surrounded with a balcony with multiple doors. So it's like rooms and stuff that you can rent for the evening. So.
Like Skyrim.
Yes. Okay.
You're just describing a Skyrim in here.
Hey, that's the thing. You take ideas and you go with it, okay?
It's just
now
like
with the wooden.
It's just like we talked about last episode. You steal shit.
Yes, but I'm kind of setting the mood. If you said that and you say Skyrim, all of a sudden, if you play Skyrim, you have the exact picture of everything that you need. So your whole mind vision is there. So. And you're playing everything in theater mind. It's just kind of when you want to grow it, okay? Now, as you guys are meeting and you sit it down at the table, couple different things that you come to find out that you're actually listening to, okay? And one of the things like that is you actually see a halfling bard that seems to be standing up on one of the corners, kind of actually telling little stupid like dad jokes. Okay, to his brothers that are actually at the bar there. You can tell he is like highly, highly drunk, but having a blast with doing it. You see other patrons sitting at tables around them, just pointing and laughing at them. Okay, you also see as you're walking in, sitting to your table, which is kind of off to the left-hand side. Okay, you walk past a group of men that are kind of they're not angry or arguing, but they're having a heated discussion about whether or not dragons exist or not. Because you have one person that says, "Oh, I actually met this dragon." The another one's saying, "You're just telling me a bigger tale because last time you told the story, it was this big, and now that fish has got bigger, and now it's gotten bigger." The other two people do not believe it exists because there's not been any dragons around this area, so they think it's a story that was made up by their grandparents to keep them in line as children. Very interesting conversation that way, okay? You sit down, the waitress and everything comes up to you. You have a little bit of conversation back and forth. Now, the players at that time can ask different things that's kind of going on. You can kind of make up a couple of different things. You can have the waitress kind of flirting with the players, depending on what's going on. There's a whole different interactions that you can do with your thing, okay? But once things are going and you start having conversations and stuff, you have a lady that just stands up at the far end of the bar, okay, and starts cussing out this man, okay? You're not quite sure what's going to go in, but you actually clearly say, "You know what? I am done. I am tired. I will show you what I'm going to do." And she storms past you and outside, okay? And you notice that she is kind of wearing just plain kind of tattered robes, which are of a greenish color. You see that there's a small little orange stripe going down one side, okay? Not new, not fancy, but that's kind of the reward. She has more of an auburn hair, which is kind of wild, undone when you're taking a look at her. And she actually has, when she walks past you, a musty smell to her, okay? So it's like, yeah, okay, that's not been washed in a couple days, okay, and she storms out past you. So
this is a medieval setting. Nobody's been washed in a couple days.
So,
I think that's something that nobody thinks of. It's just a little detail that we take for granted in our
it probably is because we don't want to know of it.
Nobody is washed.
Okay. It's probably because we don't want to know of it. Okay, I don't want to know how bad you smell. Shit. Okay. But that kind of gets that set up there. Now the waitress comes back over, start having conversation. If the players ask what's going on, and you said, I don't know, she's been in town for a while. She kind of she's kind of whorish. So she floats around from man to man to man. That's what the information you get when you're asked questions about it.
Honestly,
okay,
good for her.
I don't know how best to describe it. This is just what I'm kind of throwing out there, kind of like, okay. Kind of dismiss that. She asked you, are you guys looking to stay for the evening? Okay. The players will eventually say yes, we're going to go ahead and camp here. They have the cost. She assigns their rooms to them. And the rest of the night can flow however you want to. Interactions with other patrons or whatnot. Let the characters drive the action at this particular point. Now, once the players and everything sleep, okay, at the end of the night, I'm sorry, and night they sleep. In the morning they get up, all peaceful, they get ready, they go out. And as soon as they notice, as they walk out of their rooms in the tavern, there's hogs. Only hogs that are in the tavern. Some of them are kind of rooting around doing different things like that, which is kind of weird. You don't see the innkeeper, you don't see the bartenders, you don't see anybody else, okay? As you walk around and everything, excuse me, and you go outside the tavern and you're looking at the village, same thing. Everybody in the village is now like a hog. At least that's what you're surmise as you're describing the whole situation. So what's happened at this particular point, and you can kind of let the players kind of decide as your conversation, but the townspeople's actually been kind of turned into hogs. Don't know why, don't know what was going on, everything like that. Just kind of creepy, even though it seems like a very peaceful, serene kind of town location, stuff like that, in like a wooded area. Okay, as you're trying to figure out what's going on, you start hearing some noise and some screams of some of the hogs. As you go towards that noise, okay, you actually find a group of 4 skeletons. Okay? Okay. With 1/3 CRs. Not think. The players can actually down those skeletons without a kind of problem. Okay? And then what that's starting to do, and I would set up as a DM, is now you have hogs in town. You have skeletons. What is kind of actually going on at this particular point? Some of the players at that particular point, if you shaped it correctly, are going to want to actually track where the skeletons actually come from. So when the players actually track where the skeletons come from, okay, after this whole encounter, they can actually possibly meet more skeletons if you want to or whatnot. But they end up at the evening, okay, throughout the day, kind of travel. In the evening, they come to a small grotto. Okay, opening in the side where a grotto and everything is. It's not a very deep area, so it's just kind of like almost like an overhang that's kind of open and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And in there, you actually see a small fire going. Okay, you see on either side of the fire some kind of like hand carved, hand chiseled stone edifices for being like a small little altar type thing. Okay, they're all handmade, so there's nothing real fancy or anything like that. But you also see that lady that stormed out in that green cloak with the orange stripe, okay, is sitting there chanting at her for whatever chanting that she's trying to do. Okay, and she actually notices you coming up onto the grotto, okay? And at this particular point, she's going to turn, okay? And then she starts, no, you cannot be here. You cannot stop me. They deserved all this. And at that particular point, I know my players at previous would actually go, why'd you do this? What's going on? And try to get some answers. And you kind of find out that she just feels like she's been betrayed, hurt, nobody's trusted her, everybody's talked down to her, everything's like that. And her mistress says this would be the best thing to actually do. So she prayed, she cast a spell, okay, that was given to her by whoever she's worshiping, and she turned everybody into hogs, okay? On that too, at that particular point, she said, you can't stop me. You're going to have multiple other skeletons that's going to come out from around the side. Maybe a couple of them kind of digging themselves up out of the dirt, okay? Because you can place it, if this is going to be in a world you've done before, as like more of an evil cultist or something like that. Okay, I don't know what world you're playing, so I'm going to kind of make it generic. But you can kind of set the scene. You have some skeletons kind of digging themselves out of the ground. You have a couple other ones which are kind of climbing over some rocks, so you kind of get that too. And a fight ensues. Okay, so you're going to have multiple skeletons attack, and then also on top of that, you're going to have your cultist lady in the back. Okay, with her stat block and everything I printed off from that stat block generator. Okay, and you have your encounters. Okay, with what, so what you can also do too is once that's defeated and everything like that done, she can actually call out. It says, especially if the players are starting to win, okay, protect the altars. Don't let them get to the altars. Okay, after the fight, you down everybody. They're gonna go, why could we not have to mess with these altars? The players would probably want to destroy those edifices, those altars that's associated with that god. When they do that, that actually breaks the curse, and the townsfolk and everything turn back from hogs into people. Okay? So that's going to be the whole kind of campaign on how you can come up and actually create everything at that particular point. So, I mean, from there and how I do things, to me, that is a session game. That's how I prep. That's how I get my ideas. And I kind of go from there. And that was just something that me and you just did right here. So that kind of gives you an idea of the way my mind thinks.
Absolutely. And this is going to be, and, you just walked through that, but there's going to be a lot of extra stuff. Especially this sounds like a very beginning level thing. So, you have people like, they're going to want to talk to people. They're going to want to you can really play out that mystery there. You can
you have a lot of different options. So that at that particular point from that session prep would be my outline. I have a couple encounters I want to do specifically. People turn into pigs. First of all, the specific things that are going to happen is, however, the night unfolds, you're going to have the lady storm out the acting. Okay, they're going to wake up. They're going to have the pigs. That's the second thing. The third thing is they're going to have the skeletons try to attack some of the hogs. That's going to leave a trail. That's the third thing that's definitely going to happen. And then the fourth thing is they'll eventually get to that grotto. Okay, so those are the main things I want. How that actually gets to there, it doesn't really matter. At that particular point, you can do that because the players are kind of want to do other things, talk to other people and everything like that. But if you have those main points, depending on, it doesn't matter what they do, if you have those 4 main points, you can still carry on with your entire session that you prepped out. And honestly, with that, talking stuff like that, that's a 2-3 hour game. And we did that in 10-15 minutes? Real quick, and that's done. Now, if you have a couple game sessions under your belt and you have a better idea of where your players want to game, then you can do a lot more detail and a lot more growing. But since I don't know any direction that you want to go,
shape that to what they want.
Exactly. But since I don't know any kind of direction you want to do, I'm going to make different sets up, things like that. Okay? For the most part, that's how it's done. That's how I look at it and do it. So. And then the other thing is too, because I kind of mentioned earlier, I was like, first of all, I've just been doing this for 20 years. I'm not an expert, or over 20 years. I'm not an expert. I've just been doing this for so long. So this is kind of the way I look at it and see it and stuff like that. If this is your first time trying to do this, you might not be able to flow as easy as what I just did, but just take those ideas and run with it. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and it all becomes
the only way, you can sit there and have analysis paralysis and like, oh, what are we gonna, but the best way to get started is just by doing,
Yes. Hey. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to do, because I was the one thing I had in my notes here is like generate the idea from Connor and go from there. So that's all done on the fly. That's great. I like it. Okay. I'll let you talk now for a time.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that is a good. I think that's a good wrap up. Like that, I feel like that's a good place. I feel like that's and it's all about just do it. You get the couple bullet points that you need, and you roll with it.
Right.
And I know that some people really enjoy the prep. and I think you can attest to that, as somebody who has done all this. The prep can be incredibly fun, but there's so many different parts to this hobby and everything that like you can do. You can enjoy different parts. I don't enjoy the prep as much. I enjoy the playing, and so my point of the prep is to make it so that the game is more fun. Some people can enjoy the prep for the prep,
Well, I enjoy the prep because I like the world building. I like the story building. I like, what can I create out of this? And then when the players are playing it and they're enjoying it, that actually gives me a kind of like a rush going, okay, good. This is great.
Sense of satisfaction that like
awesome satisfaction from knowing that I did this. This is great. This is flowing great.
Comes together.
So, yes. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do it on that too. So, do you got anything that you want to add on this at all, or?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, if you got, and I'm going to say this to anybody that's listening, that if you got different ways that you do it or what you prefer or anything like that, leave us an email, leave us a message, one of our social links. I would love to hear the way you actually do stuff. So that would actually be great. So, but I don't know. I think that's go what?
Comment.
Now you're threatening everybody. That's great.
Yes. Comment or else.
All right. Well, now do you want to go ahead and do our news section? Our encounter corner.
Let's do it.
There we go.
Let's go. Okay.
So, as we are talking, and where did my notes go? Oh, never mind. It's a different page. Okay, so what we decided to do, and I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the thing, is every week we're going to take turns. I'm going to go this week, and we're going to describe either location, setting, NPC, monster, encounter, something that you can use in your own personal game and take with you. So, and since my mind runs with all these things all the time, we're kind of joking about starting with the alphabet, where I go with A this week, and then Connor will go with B on the next session, and we kind of go back and forth on that too. So, okay. Well, here we go with our first episode of the encounter. We don't even have a name for it. We'll figure this out. Our encounter section. Because we're professionals.
Encounter, enclave, creature corner,
yes.
NPC, and anagram, I don't know.
Or NPC anagrams, that's great. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Today we're going to start out with the location. Okay, now this is called Arsenics and Andy's Armory. Okay. So I have a description here.
Can I open this up now, or?
Yeah, go ahead and open it up, or you can listen and then open it up. That's up to you. Yeah, this is cool because you've never seen this. Okay. But I don't know. I started this and then it just started expanding. Okay, so we're going to start with the Arsenic and Andy's Armory. So, description. This armory rests in the middle of a large city and is the main supplier of armor and weapons for the local ruler. It consists of a large main building, which is open to the public, that displays custom-made and acquired armor made renowned by the heroes who wore it. Behind the building is a large working forge area. Many assistants can be seen maintaining the fires and provided needed materials when asked. Out of public view is a stairs that lead to a basement where supplies are stored, and also a false wall is that is there. And the two owners are the only ones that know what lays behind it. Okay. Almost any armor can be purchased with and without magical enhancement. Custom pieces, though they are a specialty, prices depending on the piece run 30 to 40% over going rates due to quality of craftsmanship. And these are master craftsmen. Okay. We're going to go to our owner. Okay. Arsenic is a 6-foot-tall elven male with thin build and is dressed in ornate stitched leather and chain mesh armor. He is very suave and smooth. He has a very suave and smooth voice that puts patrons at ease while he runs the front of the house. Andy is a stocky, well-built, 4-foot 8-inch dwarf who wears a dirty armor's apron and is very gruff in speech and in attitude. He is a well-known master of his trade. Okay. Now,
I never thought I'd be crafting armor side by side with an elf.
What
about a friend?
Oh, this gets even better. Here's the description. The pair has a few quirks. Though seeming to be complete opposites, they are in fact twins. And when asked about it, their only response is, "It's complicated." They are completely separate individuals, especially when you're talking to them in one-on-one situations, but when they are in the same room, they speak in unison as if they have only one mind and one thought when addressing people, okay? But like, for example, if you're speaking one-to-one, you'll have one thought. If you're speaking to a group of people in a room, they talk at the same time, identical speech, okay? But then when they turn and talk to each other, they have separate voices. Very interesting quirk. And this is where I kind of got my inspiration is I was going through a bunch of old videos, stuff like that, and I saw something on YouTube, and I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. So have you ever seen the movie Twins? There we go. Oh, you've not. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito as a pair of twins.
Okay.
So that way it gives you kind of a physical representation, okay? Now, because this is going to be a location and stuff, for defense of the actual magical building. As protection for the armory, there are 4 custom animated armors located inside the building. These are made from armor that is acquired from the former renowned heroes. The stat blocks included... Let me start over again because I'm talking and looking at this whole sheet. As protection for the armory, there are 4 custom animated armors that's located inside the building. Okay. Now these custom armors, and these are set up when you walk into the building as like displays. Okay. These are made from armor that was acquired from former renowned heroes. So it has a name. You can go, ooh, Hero A used to wear this armor. Hero B won the Battle of Brookshire in this particular armor. Okay? And that's kind of set up. Now, with these are animated armor. They look like regular armor, displays, and everything else on that too. But the armors themselves, I mean, like I said, they look like displays so they don't move. But if something happens in the shop, somebody tries to break in or anything like that, they automatically animate. Now, I do have a stat block, which is included in this file that I created with description and everything, called Arsenic's Animated Armor. And I actually modified that off of the stat block generator that we talked about earlier. Okay. Now, with the stat blocks that I put here, I increased the hit points, armor class, kind of made them a little bit harder creatures just because they're custom on that. Okay. And the nice thing is too, is this kind of like a base template. You can add, especially if you round out your environment and you know who the former heroes were that had this armor, you can add their enhancements to the armor that they had with them to kind of make them a lot more unique. But that's all up on you for description. Okay? So that's kind of the idea I got for the location, place, description, people in it, and also creatures that can be found in it depending on the situation. Okay? So that was actually really fun to create, and my ideas kind of went wild. The other thing that I put at the very bottom of the list underneath the stat blocks, okay, is I have a list called additional ideas, okay? Now this is where my mind was just going crazy. First of all, the additional ideas to what I have here is behind the hidden wall is a teleporter to a hidden location where the valuables can be found, okay? So they don't keep everything on premises. Next one is the owners are part of a larger conspiracy to overthrow the current government.
With the wizards who are faking the dragons.
That could be. Okay. The next thing is they worship some demon lord, which gives them the power of their craft. Sacrifices of town folks must be made to get these powers. All right. So I'm already accounting adventure ideas in my head. Okay. The next one I thought was really fun. The owners are actually triplets instead of just twins. Okay. This third person is actually of some other race. Okay. And is a high level magic user who is the one providing the magical enhancements to the armors that they craft.
Okay.
Okay. Now the third one, this deals with the constructs that's actually animated armor that's actually in the shop, is the armor is actually animated by the tortured souls of the previous heroes who wore them.
Damn.
Yeah. So what I did, and this is kind of what I like doing and providing is, hey, let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a shop, a place, location, NPCs. Let me give you a creature associated with that, a whole display, and then let me give you campaign ideas. So this is the first. That's going to be many of these, and I kind of like this as an idea and something I can actually give back to everybody else, since these are kind of like ideas that I take by listening to other people. So, all right. So, what is your thought about that?
I really like this, and I really like your last additional ideas right here, right? Because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
So I do think this is really good.
So, but like I said, when you give me time to create, this is kind of the way my mind goes, and it gives me so many different things that I can do. And I like the idea of creating different stuff. And I personally have a notebook that I take to work with me, and I write down ideas, boom, 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 and then I take back and I put them in a folder so I can use and ideas and stuff like that. So, yeah, I that's what I do, and this actually just kind of got bigger and bigger as I was writing it, going, oh, I really, really like this. So, but and then also too is, since this is written as something I can do, this is something we can keep, and then we can actually share with other people, especially if they want like a copy of it or anything else like that too for their own ideas. So, yeah, I think that is good, and that's kind of how I want the encounter corner to go and flow.
I like it.
Cool. All right. Well, I think
now I have to do something.
I didn't set the bar too high, did I? But this is how I do it. Also, too, now you have the links that I was sharing with you for stat blocks, generators, all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So I don't know if there's nothing else. I think this actually might be the end of the podcast this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, before we end it, all the links to the generators and stuff that I used today, I will add those into the description of the podcast, and then also to the video cast that we're doing on YouTube. The other thing I can do is you can follow our link tree, which is going to be down in the description, and that will get you to our social sites. That will also get us to our YouTube channel, vice versa, the podcast if you're coming from YouTube, everything like that. So listen to our cast, subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it, and comment if there's anything that you'd like or like to see us do, or ideas you would have, like, hey, I have a problem doing X. I would love to answer that kind of question again and give you my thoughts and ideas on it. But other than that, that is it. Last thing I want to plug is I also have another channel on YouTube, which is called 13 Peppers, where I eat a bunch of spicy hot peppers, growing them, gardening, and everything else. So you can follow me there. Yeah, that's pretty much my life. So what about you? What do you have to pimp?
I don't have anything to plug, my digital footprint is this.
So it's growing. So the only thing we have to get really better at, and it's both of us, is commenting more on our new social channels that we actually did. So, but that all takes some time, and that'll grow.
Yep.
But with that, I think that's about it. My name is Ralph. I am Nerd.
I am Connor. I am Son.
All right. And with that, you all have a very, very good day.
Bye.